Hello, I'm Jane.
Hi, I'm Graham, and together we are the Woolly Cod Wanderers. Yeah, that's working now. There you go. Yeah. Hello, sorry about that. We couldn't get the camera started. Right, just to give you up to speed, we've put all these battens that run all the way along the top edge here, along here, and along the bottom. These two here, we're going to put the insulation in, then the bubble wrap, then this is going to be foiled over to create the vapour barrier, and then these boards, which what we'll screw in just for the backing. On the top here, this is going to be the base of our top little cupboards that are going to go, with that sound and screwed right through to the wall and glued. So we've done that on that side and also this side. Now what we've started on is dividing the camper van, because we wanted to make a toilet area and changing room at the back of the van. So we've started with this. So we built the base frame here, and then this is where we're going to have our shot tower. This is where we're going to have our toilet cubicle. So we'll put that, I forget what they call it, it's like a plastic board you just wipe down. So it's going to be plyboarded, then that over it on there and here. But this side we're going to drop down to about here, so you've got plenty of elbow room if you're just using the toilet, and then there's going to be a shower curtain that will come round here. So to complete this section off, what we've got is this old door off our old caravan when we stripped the caravan down. So obviously this needs to be cleaned down. Don't know what we're going to put on this here. We might put a different type of board altogether, but this is all to be painted. But what we're thinking of doing, because there's no light in that area, just to give a bit of natural light, is like a little porthole window, and it might make a feature of it going into there. So the idea is that once that's the framed out, we've boarded it, then the door will, I'll just get that clip around there, get the hinge onto there, so that will then be fixed into that position, obviously dictated by that, because you can't use a spirit level. We're going to hold this in place to create where we come down and go onto this side to complete the wall divide, which will then be the little door. So that's what I've been up to, and while I've been doing that, our Jane has been on the insulation.
Right, we've got our plastic bottles, recycled plastic bottles, insulation, and I've been splitting it in half, then tearing off a section and filling my ribs. Tim from Restoration Couple, he did this in his. You feed it in and then use a chopstick to work it along your rib, using all the holes, gradually feeding it along. But don't pack it too tight, it still needs to be quite springy inside.
We're going to put Celotex on the ceiling, and obviously little battens under here, because obviously Jane's on at the moment going along filling these up. But then we were thinking about this van, so I've took the cover off, but if you look up here you can see that when this van was put in, it was never treated, and that's just raw metal. So we're going to have to unbolt these 4 bolts. Hopefully won't have to have a socket on the top and the bottom, but we need to take it off altogether so we can rub this down, treat the rust and put it back on. Then we're going to need longer bolts so we can then put it through, so that once we've got the, well, we'd have to board it out so that we screw through the metal, through the wood, and then obviously so it brings this framing below our ceiling, and then obviously we can put the cap back on. But we're going to have to strip all that down and clean it all up. So that's priority now while the weather's decent. Right, there we are. It's a bit mucky round there. Yeah, see around there. But if you actually look through it, there's a little bit of, it's just more muck, Jane, look at that. Well, that's a bit rusty there. But if I can get there, clean that off and then treat it, I think that's what we want to do. That's what it looks like. Whoop, wobble. Right, just thought we'd get you up to speed, because I don't think we've covered everything. The first thing we've done, I don't think I've gone through with you, is this is the frame that's going to divide the main part of the camper van. Within here is going to be our toilet area and a fitted wardrobe. Now what we've done with this frame, it's all 2x2, which is all glued and screwed together. But if you remember, in the previous videos, the battens that are on the floor, which were stuck to the floor, then the Celotex fitted in between, then the floor on the top. Well, where those battens run is exactly where this frame has been screwed and glued to. Yeah, so it's screwed and glued to there. We've also screwed and glued it over to these edges. You'll notice there's battens running along here, the top and the bottom, that run all the way along the van, and that's for the panelling to go onto. We've also put one along the top along this edge that runs right along the van, and the same on that side. Again, they're screwed and glued onto the metal, and then obviously we've tied this frame into these supports, top and at the bottom. So that's how we've created the framework for the bathroom and toilet. Right, as you'll notice, looking round, you'll see all the recycled plastic bottle insulation. And because we only have this part of wall here, because the rest is windows, we've just put this on here, because obviously it's in this top and in on the bottom. Don't have to move it that fast. This has been held in with spray adhesive, which is holding that in place. Obviously we'll now board over the top of that. No, we won't. We'll put the silver tape over here, and this will have the bubble wrap, you know, the silver stuff. We'll show you that when we get to that, but you can see where we're at with that. You'll also notice that we've got wires hanging down here. So this one is going to be to a switch, which from here will run to the front of the van. We'll put the front. I don't know what Jane's doing with this camera, but it seems to be all over the shop. And that'll run to the front. So that's going to be for the switch. Wire comes up here and runs into here. And Jane's put these on for us because we're going to put Celotex on this ceiling. But what we don't want to do is have a hole where the whole idea of the vapor barrier is lost through a plug. So we've put these on so that when we go to put the Celotex, we'll put a hole through the Celotex. It is Celotex, isn't it? We'll put the hole through the Celotex so that feeds through, then tape round it so we can still get our thermal vapor barrier. That's it. Right, so as you come through, you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wires hanging down. So these are for the spots. And we wanted these up and out the place, so once we've got the insulation in, we're sorted. So we'll have one here, which then comes from here. It's called daisy chaining, I believe. So it goes from there into number 3, then from number 3 into number 2, from number 2 into number 1, and then from here runs through this ducting back through here, and here is when we put the wall up that we're going to have the switch. Those are the only cables that are going to be hidden behind the insulation, the panelling. On here, where this piece of timber is where we're going to have our top boxes, and underneath we're going to have spot lamps. So what will happen is we'll have a double switch, one which feeds these lights and one which will feed them. Every piece of wiring other than this is going to be run inside the units, inside ducting, so that it's handy to get out if we need to. This is the only one that's going to be under the insulation. We've also put this frame up. I don't know if you can see much of it, but this frame again screws through the battens on the floor, creates a frame here, and this area is what's going to be the window. This will be panelled off here and on here, and along here we'll have tongue and groove on this side, panel on the other side with carpet to finish it off. But this will come down to where the height of the seat is. We then had this problem with the, can you not get it from there? So you're going to have to quickly walk around to the other side. Jane's just going on a tour from the back of the van. Here she comes. Are you coming, my dear? Yeah. Watch you don't trip. Right, now we're here. Oh, here, are we in focus? Right, we had this vent. So when we took the vent out, in the previous one, we've treated all the metal. And then I put this dowel, piece of wood, put a circle through it, so we could screw through from the top. So from the outside, it's sealed off, re-siliconed it at the top. But we've put this H type of bracket in, which is just glued to the ceiling. And next thing is we're going to put some of the aluminium tape over this, and then we're going to have little battens on here, because when our roof comes across, we need to finish it so that we've got the vent in there, and we need it to somewhere to screw into. So that's what that's for. The best stuff that we've used, which we've used now on all of this, which is just glued, the battens on the floor, the battens on the side, we've used this stuff from Screwfix, called the Works multi-surface sealant and adhesive. It's absolutely spot on, really solid. Job we're on with now, we're fitting little battens onto the, what would we call these?
Ribs.
The ribs. So the ribs of the van, Jane keeps me right. So the ribs of the van, these are now screwed and glued with the Works along here. Oh. So what we had was pre-cut bits. Actually went to get some timber and these packing pieces basically, which work ideal, and they were already cut, so we put them onto all of these. We're short now obviously on the corners, so what we're now doing is putting little bits on the angle, which again screwed and glued. So next job is to do them all the way along. When we've done all that, then we can start looking and putting the Celotex up onto the ceiling. But that's up to speed, I think, for now.